Welcome back to Lantern Insights. Today we're going to be doing a full league with the Esper Tutors version. I think this is pretty well positioned currently in what the metagame's looking like, and have just done single match videos on it so far. So we're gonna do a run through of a full league with it. If you haven't seen me play this version before, basically it's trading a bit of speed, so it's going to be a bit slower than the Abzan or black-green versions, but it's going to make up for that with its consistency. So I call it the Tutors Lantern, where we have 4 copies of War of Invention, 4 copies of Profane Tutor, and then 4 copies of Urza Saga. So essentially having 12 tutors in the deck for a lot of our key parts makes us very consistent, and like any games that go long, like we're going to assemble the lock eventually. Like it's just going to happen. We're able to find our answers to anything, and so I think with some of the more grindier decks, I think this definitely like much better against like 4-color than the Abzan versions are. I think this is going to be a lot stronger. It can struggle a bit against some very fast decks. However, one thing to note is that Bridge, usually you don't need 0 cards in the current modern metagame. There are a few matchups where you really want to be at 0, but generally if you have 1 or 2 cards in hand, Bridge is still going to lock down most threats, and so we're kind of capitalizing on that fact. We got the Baubles Welding Jar, again good with Welding Jar. In terms of removal, we're playing Portable Hole main, and it works well with War of Invention, takes care of early threats. We got playsets Thoughtseize, 1 Inquisition, some Duresses. The 1 Inquisition splits in there, just you can grab it with Profane Tutor if it's kind of the best option that you need. 1 Collector Brutality. Then of course our 4 Codex Shredder. If you're just new to Lantern, it's Codex Shredder plus Lantern of Insight. It's kind of the main combo of the deck, where Lantern has both players play with their top card revealed, and then you use Codex Shredder to mill them if there's anything kind of problematic on top. We're playing 2 copies of Pithing Needle, only 1 copy of Pyxis of Pandemonium. Actually, importantly, we do only have 3 copies of Lantern of Insights. However, that number is effectively 15 with the amount of tutors that we're playing. So same goes for Bridge, although for it's effectively only 11. We're playing 1 copy of Shadow Spear, and we are at 61 cards. So I think if you wanted to play a clean 60, Shadow Spear would be the card to trim. And then if we have 1 copy of the Cookbook, just been a very good search target. In terms of the mana base, we don't have any basic lands. I definitely think you could add 1 island just as a bit of a hedge. However, I think having you really want black early, and I just don't really like the basic land. We have Watery Grave to grab off of Beseju, and so we're only really weak to Field of Ruin type effects, which are going to be mill and coffers specifically, and hopefully we can use our Pithing Needles to lock those down. Moving on to the sideboard, we're playing 3 copies of Leyline. Hushbringer, I think, is really strong. It hits a lot of stuff in Modern currently. I think it's very, very well positioned. Get Lost, one of the best targets for it is Leyline Binding, usually. It can be good if that's kind of their removal in hand. Just hits a lot. Instant speed, so you can float mana if someone plays a Blood Moon, remove that. Another consideration with the basic island is that I think it's so unlikely to come up in. You need it plus your opponent to have Blood Moon plus you draw island, and even 1 island doesn't make you any better against Blood Moon because, you need 3 blue to cast War of Invention. So it doesn't protect against Blood Moon in any meaningful way. If you wanted removal that hit Blood Moon that you could cast off a basic land, you need to run a basic Plains, but there's no way I'm running a basic Plains with needing War of Invention at triple blue and all the hand disruption at black. So I just don't think it's worth it. We have Ashiok for Titan, some of the more controlling matchups. It's a very good grindy card. Often, in a lot of matchups, it's just 3 mana, mill 20, remove most of their deck. Tezzeret, I've actually really liked it. I started playing him in person, in paper events a bit, and he's been performing pretty well. Obviously, this deck is trying to grind a bit more, so I think he's well suited there. We do a couple of Curse Totems for matchups like Yawgmoth. The rest rounding out the playset of Pithing Needles. I think 4 in the 75 is ideally where you want to be, although you can get away with 3. Often I'll play 3 main, 1 side, but again, with all the tutors, can afford to only play 2. And then we got 1 Emrakul, just if run up against mill, you just bring that in and then hope to keep them off of surgical effects and exile effects with your hand disruption, and you should be good to go. Anyway, that's the deck. Would love to hear your thoughts on it, and now let's get into round one. Well, round one, easy mulligan here. I think we saw basically every hand disruption spell in the deck except for like a Thoughtseize. So, I mean, if we had a black land maybe. We got Lantern, Bauble. I can keep it here. I do generally find that with this version of the deck, you can afford to keep slightly sketchier your keeps, as on average its top decks are going to be a bit better than some other versions. Here we'll just lead on Lantern plus Bauble. Kind of unfortunate that we give them some information with the fetch land, but I think it's with this hand, Hedge Maze. I think they should have fetched after Lantern happened. Underworld Breach. Okay. I mean, this is likely Lotus Field, something like that. You're gonna have to hope that Profane Tutor, hopefully, consider. My guess is they're on some version of Twiddle Storm, and that Lotus Field is going to confirm it. They could go off on turn 3 here. If they hit it turn 3, then they got us. And I suspect they keep the what they do. One top, one bottom. So they bottomed a Lotus Field and kept a Twiddle in hand, which likely means that they already have a Lotus Field. That's the only real reason for them to do that. Yeah, here we just got to suspend Tutor, and we're kind of in trouble without a lot of the hand disruption, but I would like to see what their win condition is. So we're going to F6 here. Likely going to be too slow, bit flooded, but at this point, like, we just want to see what their win condition is, and then I'm going to assume they have it here. 6 cards in hand, a Twiddle. They likely have it. So they're going to be the One Ring. I mean, it's a needle target, so Wish is problematic here. Although if Wish is just getting their win condition, and run out of cookbook, you're going to put a needle on the One Ring. And then I think in their upkeep, when the protection has worn off, I think we have to sacrifice a Lantern here. Just as them having Wish, they're likely going to have some answer for what we're doing in the sideboard. And so I don't want them to have that. Actually, a bit unfortunate that we're not drawing Whir of Invention here, as the Profane Tutor is just on 1, right? So they need kind of one more piece to go off here. So they're going to Twiddle. They probably have another Wish in hand. This is what this looks like based on... This is another deck I play in paper. So I know what their goal of doing this is, and they should find a Tome Scour as a 1-mana blue sorcery that mills 5 cards, which means we're dead. We're dead here. Tome Scour plus Twiddle is deterministic, where you're able to Tome Scour twice, putting 10 cards in the graveyard, and Twiddle once, which ends up with net neutral mana, but 1 extra card in the graveyard. So they should end up with like 3 extra cards in their graveyard. They're actually going to be very tight. Hopefully I think they should get it, but I do want to see what their win condition is. Some lists play Grape Shot as a win condition. Some play Thassa's Oracle. So depending on what they're on, will change whether or not we're bringing in Hushbringer, and it will also depend on whether or not we side out Bridge, as I don't think they're on Empty the Warrens. It's not super commonly a card that's in there. Okay, so they do have Sylvan Scrying, Boseiju are cards to watch out for. Echoing Truth, this can be a pretty clean answer to the constructs we saw there. Where was it? It was somewhere, but they do have an Echoing Truth here. They're just going to mill through. I mean, the one good thing about this combo is that we do get to see their whole deck, so we know what to bring in sideboard wise. Okay, so they're going to bounce the Needle and draw 2. They might not have it here. They if they're wasting mana in order to draw cards with the ring, they might have really needed those cards. Especially they exiled their Tome Scour. I thought they just had it there. I guess they didn't have enough cards in their graveyard with the Tome Scour Twiddle loop. I play a slightly different version, but I assumed they had it. So they're likely going to wish here. They don't have Grape Shot. They could have wished Grape Shot with what they had. Their storm count's not quite 20, I guess. So you're going to untap the ring. Draw 3. I mean, they're only at 8 cards left. So they should, like, they need one more card for Wish in the graveyard to escape it. And, like, they should have it here. I'm assuming we're dead. Like, if this is paper, I'm telling them just flip your deck over, show me what you got, and so they wish for Grape Shot, right? But they could have done that. I guess they needed the extra storm count because we didn't take any damage. Preordain. Maybe it is Thassa's Oracle. That's their win condition. They don't have Grape Shot. I mean, if the Oracle's their win condition, then we are bringing in Hushbringer. We're going to play another ring? I don't know what they played. So they have 2 cards and they're going to play Thassa's Oracle. It would be real funny if I had Fatal Push here. Nope, they're going to draw 2 and then play Thassa's Oracle and we're dead. Alright, well, they had the turn 4. We drew a bit slower. Just play the Thassa's Oracle. I'm so confused right now. Yeah, you had it the whole time. Yeah, you win. Alright, well, it is the Oracle, but they likely have Grape Shot, although Grape Shot is going to require a bit more work from them. So in terms of sideboarding, bridges can come out. We didn't see Empty the Warrens. They likely aren't going to be too reliant on it. Cookbook can come out. Shadow Spear, I think, can come out. Grafdigger's Cage is very good. Portable Hole only really hits Underworld's Breach, but we're likely better off getting Grafdigger's Cage at any rate. On the play, I'm going to want Ashiok's. They're going to be pretty good. The Hushbringers, as they are relying on Thassa's Oracle, Needles for the 1 ring. Now, some number of these cards is likely going to be the rest. I think we can probably cut a Collective Brutality. They're not really going to be playing many creatures. And then it's just, do I want Get Lost for like Underworld's Breach? Yeah, that's probably worth it. Well, probably not. Let's just bring in some ley lines if they're on Welding Jar. Yeah, they have Beseiju. Oh, we'll go like that. If they're relying on Grape Shot, hopefully Leyline can help with that a bit. And let's see what we got. I mean, I'll triple Needle, eh? I think we gotta send it back almost. Well, down to 5. down to 4. Let me know if you would have kept that first hand. I think like with 3 needles, we put 1 on Boseiju, then on the ring and Odawara, and just kind of, or engineered explosives, and just kind of sit like that. They mulligan to 6 as well, but yeah, kind of unfortunate that we just ran into double no landers. Although if you're not gonna get I think we keep the tutor to find a finisher and hope that this is good enough on 4. Definitely a long shot, but if we get a land, we can suspend the tutor, and then I think something like Ashiok can probably solo here. Likely something like Consider. Well, Whir of Invention is not quite the right card here. But we'll see. Any multi-4 is pretty rough, but it's, you gotta get the bad luck out of the way early, and then hopefully the later matches we'll have good luck for. So stick around for those. Sylvan Scrying, they're gonna grab a Seiju. Oh, Lotus Field. I guess yeah, they need Lotus Field. Glimmer Void is a land. So technically, like if we draw a land in our next 2 turns, we can like get the full lock. Although I wouldn't be shocked if they had ring. So you kind of want a Pithing Needle. I guess if they just go off, they could play just enough of these untappers similar to the Pioneer version, which doesn't have Underworld Breach, but alright, Saga is a clock eventually. So we'll play it. It does make this Profane Tutor interesting, what we grab here. Echoing Truth probably means we're dead. You don't use Echoing Truth unless you have the kill right ready. We don't have another blue for Whir, so I think we're probably dead here. Very unfortunate mulligans, but we'll make them show that they have it. If alright, Breach plus Dream's Grip. I mean, as soon as we see Tome Scour or the Wish, then guess Dream's Grip. Yep. Yeah, show us a Wish. We're dead. More Dream's Grip, not Wish. Yep, that's it. All right. Well, tough mulligans there, but it happens, and we will. Don't forget to smash that like button if you like us dying to Storm, I guess. So, you can wait for the second game to smash the like button, I guess, and I will be back for the start of round 2. Well, back at it on the draw. I think this hand's pretty keepable. We got Bridge Lantern. We can use Saga to get grab a Shredder. Merfolk. Okay, this is I'm gonna say something like it's. I'm just not gonna make any comments on the quality of this matchup. This is a very difficult matchup here. We take the Hex Catcher. Worst card for us, for sure. And we do want the extra cards here. Let's see what they're drawing. The stock hand could become a bit of a issue if we're tight on mana. We got a Trickster. Importantly, Trickster can kill construct tokens, in tapping them down and making them lose all abilities. they also lose the ability to have power and toughness. That's very good. Grabbing another land. Lantern. Another Trickster we're totally fine with, and importantly we get a 4th land here, meaning that we're going to be able to get bridge down and should be in pretty good shape. They don't have quite enough lords here to provide quick pressure, and although a second Tidebinder is mildly annoying, actually maybe a bit more than mildly annoying. So they are holding up the dockhand, but importantly, by holding up the dockhand, they can't flash in a Tidebinder if they use it. So probably just realizing that now. And I'll see 2 Tidebinders, obviously kind of annoying. They're just going to flash the second Trickster in. We're going to let that go through. I think we sack Lantern here to get rid of a second Tidebinder, as it's not really great for us. No, I don't want to pay life. I'm just going to run out of Grafdigger's Cage. Doesn't really do anything, but just need to empty that hand. And honestly, another Seachrome Coast on top is totally fine, as we are going to have to cast 2 bridges here, likely. So we're just going to sacrifice this second subtlety. Yep, you can have subtlety. Oh, just dodge the Hexcatcher draw. That's right, they got Tidebinder and subtlety in hand. And hit us for 10. They likely stifle the search trigger here, would be my guess. That's what they should do at any rate. I suspect they Tidebinder this, and then they're going to cry as we play Ensnaring Witch. And then main deck, they should have either 1 or 2 copies of Odawara. Actually, this is kind of tight here. We're taking 5. 5 and then 1. We're in okay shape. I'm going to draw the Hexcatcher. Likely correct to sacrifice their whole board to stop the second bridge from resolving. Okay, they swing for 2. They want to hold up the tapping us down. They could have flashed the Lord in for an extra 2 damage, but we'll take it. Yeah, you got it. Land is tapped. And now the Pithing Needle is actually really good. We'll provide an answer either to Odawara or the Hexcatcher. Alright, with the second bridge, yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Just gotta mill them out. Aether Vial. Yeah, we can. I mean, now it's about like clock time. We're already down about a minute. Yikes, that's kind of slow. But yeah, it's just clock time. I am gonna needle the Hexcatcher because I'm more worried about it countering things than Odawara bouncing one of the bridges. So, Bodalian, Hexcatcher. And yeah, from here we'll just hope to draw a Codex Shredder. And this being Merfolk, they don't really have a good way of winning from here. You never know what spiciness they might have. I don't think they can beat a bridge in this position. Yeah, they'd have to. Oh yes, I have no friends. Poor me. 104.38? I think so. Get rid of the dockhand, might as well. I wonder if those of you are curious, I believe 104.38 is the you can concede at any time rule, where at any moment you can you can choose to leave the game. Well, these top decks are not quite the best here. Obviously looking for not cookbook either. I'll take that X-Catcher. Can technically, I guess, flash in and do whatever. Dockhand we don't care about. Yeah, from this point, it's just finding a top deck would encourage you to use the right arrow key on your keyboard. Skip forward slightly, and get to where I hopefully find a mill rock at some point. We're gonna take this upkeep stop off, although that may never happen. We may be here a while before we find a mill rock, and I guess it's technically correct for them not to concede until we until we show some way of winning. Also didn't realize we were at 3. That's it's pretty low. I guess we have to be careful about drawing double Thoughtseize, but to be honest, I'm just gonna use this use the Cobra to drain them. Just put myself at 5 and hope for the best. I mean, if you think about like Saga, Profane Tutor, Whir of Invention, Codex Shredder, alright, they concede. They had enough, which is perfect. I mean, they were dead. No way Merfolk comes back from that. So what do we want in? We actually want Cursed Totems in, and then I can see Leyline of Sanctity, specifically against Hurkyl's Recall, which says target player. Shadow Spear is not really useful. Grafdigger's Cage isn't really useful. Underworld's Cookbook can be kind of useful for getting under Bridge. Collective Brutality and Welding Jar are both. Actually, Collective Brutality is kind of decent. Welding Jar is useless. Maybe we'll just bring in two ley lines. It's not like super important. If we have our own disruption, then we can remove the Hurkyl's Recall. However, just having it kind of as an extra card to bring in is not terrible. And we are able to cast it pretty effectively in this version. Yeah, I think we'll keep this. Kind of slow. Gotta find a bridge, but yep, like to put that into play. And we get the turn 1 Thoughtseize. You know, the more I look at this, the more it's slightly a sketchy keep without lands, or especially against Dockhand. Don't love that. Don't love drawing another Thoughtseize. Let's see what you're working with. And they also have 1 land, which means we're both on pretty slow clocks. Given that I have 2 more discard spells, I'm just going to take the Vial and hope that both of us being mana screwed, I can get out of first. Although them drawing a land here makes that plan look a bit worse. If they do hold Dockhand up for a bit, they can give us a bit of trouble. Hopefully find a land. Nope. Alright, we kind of, yeah, if they just Dockhand for a couple turns, we're although no land for them is also good. Another Codex Shredder, not if we find lands, we'll be off to the races pretty quickly, but I suspect they're drawing some number of 2 mana lords, but they want to use the 1 mana to keep us locked down. And here, kind of just have to run it out. Probably should have played Lantern there. Definitely bait. Forest Pitch Subtlety. I don't know why they left Subtlety in. It's going to sacrifice the Glimmer Void, but like I think if we wait a turn, we're not really in much better shape. We do get the Force out of their hand. Alright, well, at least we have a turn to untap here. And their clock is 4 a turn. Fast enough if we don't draw a bridge. Just draw 6. Bobble Stress to not take damage. We got 3 cards. Is one of them a force? Oh, here goes recall. Yeah, I'll take the force. It is, I mean, the recall is what we talked about bringing Leyline in for. However, this game is going to be, I mean, Sveloon they can't cast, so they probably hold up the dockhand here unless they want to. I mean, we are dead in 4 turns. Well, the pressure might be quite enough. Maybe we should have held the Glimmer Void, knowing that they had force in hand, although we do get to Lantern plus Pixis here. We take 4, take 6. Maybe we should have removed a Lord over play Pixis, but yeah, I think we got to take them off the Lord here, even though it is taking us off of a land. An island lets them draw Sveloon. I think we're probably gonna upkeep. Oh, this gives our other Merfolk Ward 1. Makes it much more expensive to cast a Portable Hole. Kind of sloppy here, honestly. Not a super well played game. I mean, they have lethal, but we have Portable Hole to buy 1 extra turn. Word of Invention is a bridge if we can find a land without. No, we're just dead anyway. Right, so we play Portable Hole here, take out the Lord, and then hit us for 3/4. And then play the land. I mean, we gotta go for it. They can use Dockhand probably. Okay, let's pay the Ward 1. Yes. And so if they swing for 5, I guess they have 2 options. They can either swing for 3, holding up. Okay, so they're gonna take the draw. Oh, Odawara on top. So they can flash in a. I think we're dead. Or they can flash in the Trickster. And even if we were for bridge, yeah, they got it. Alright, slow hand there, kind of punished for the 1-lander, but we're on the play next game. I'm not too worried about it. Dang, 30 minutes in already. Only round 2. Yeah, Lantern online definitely a slower deck. I find like online it's way slower than in paper. Like I'd say when I play in paper, like consistently one of the first, like, okay, maybe not consistently, but like often done in the earlier half of a round. Like you usually know if like both you and your opponent, where if you have a chance of winning, you can play it out. It doesn't do anything. I guess we'll keep. It's not the worst hand I've ever seen. But we can shred ourselves into something. Oh, they multi 5. It could be mulliganing for Hercule's Recall, Odawara, kind of any of that hand hate. Obviously, if they resolve Recall against us, we're pretty toast. They multi 5. We can have things like Force, but it seemed to resolve pretty instantly. So we'll play it out and see how we do. Obviously bobbling ourselves here, try to get something a touch relevant. Profane Tutor is kind of perfect. One important thing to note is they can I think, how many answers do they have to a singular? I think I'm just going to run out the other artifacts here. They don't have early pressure. The first needle's going on the Hex Catcher. I think it's just they play more copies of it, and yes, Odoaras can be problematic, but we have kind of more time to deal with it. So they probably just a Lord, I would suspect. So the goal is not to get an island. Well, that makes this look a bit worse. We're just going to suspend a Profane Tutor and go from there. Likely, I mean, if we have Profane Tutor coming off Suspend and are able to cast Whir of Invention on the same turn, I think that puts us in pretty good shape. As if they have something like Force, they can only force one of them. They are starting to build up a clock here. No blocks. But yeah, we just need one more land, and we just start reeling off lock pieces. That's what I mean, kind of where the Chalice. That actually would have been pretty good. They leave Subtlety in. I don't know what their sideboard looks like, but Subtlety is not it against us. And so here we're just going to be looking for a land. Do they force Bobble? No way they're thinking about forcing Bobble. Like, we're just looking for that third land. We can order our Bobble triggers to draw a card before. I mean, we'll probably just do it at our, like on our turn, Bobble ourselves, mill right away, and that way we don't have to worry about ordering triggers. Although if they make a decision, I mean, if their last three cards are like Tidebinder plus blue card plus Force, then obviously we're pretty cooked, but I think we kind of just have to take that risk. Bobble ourselves, looking for a land, portable hole, slows down their clock a bit, but on the whole doesn't really do that much. Let's draw a card. Go figure. 2 Curse Totems right after we needle Hex Catcher. Well, I mean, like, we'll Profane Tutor, Sphaloon, don't really care about it. I think we have to tutor for Bridge, tutor for Lantern. I think we have to tutor for Bridge and hope that we find a land. Because we play more lands than we do Tidebinder here. I mean, Tidebinder puts us down to 1 when they swing, so yeah, we might lose this here. That's the wrong Tidebinder, wrong trigger to Tidebinder, but we will take it. So I believe the trigger that they are 5. Oh no, we're dead if we don't draw land here. Yeah, so the trigger that they countered was the remove a suspend counter from it, meaning it will still come off suspend next turn. Yeah, go figure. That yeah, we're dead. 3, 6, 11. Saga will not do it there. Unfortunate to find the land and not be the right one, you know. I don't know. Maybe that game 2 hand was probably a bit sketchy, but it always stings a bit losing to Merfolk. Maybe I jinxed it early, suggesting the quality of its matchup, but I'll be back for round 3 shortly. Well, we're on the play for once, so that's a good start. Yep, full lock, bit of removal. I'll keep that. One thing with the, with all the surveil lands out, I think you definitely want to lead on Shredder. There are so many decks that, I guess it matters a bit less on the play, but a lot of decks that kind of where surveil land is pretty good to take out. Thoughtseize is... Oh, Ragavan is like perfect here. We're just gonna go Coast, Lantern, Portable Hole, and likely some scam. Second thought, we are gonna Thoughtseize first in order to take Thoughtseize of theirs. Ooh, Stoneforge, right? Oh, okay. So on something slightly different. I guess we take the Mystic. Rabble Master is kind of fine. Portable Hole and okay, not some artifacts. Stoneforge, Mardu pile, Mardu value. I'll play Saga. I look like the deck that would play Thoughtseize, and so I'm just gonna run out. I guess they could have Prismatic Ending here. I mean, we know 4 of the 5 in their hand. I guess they would have had to top deck exactly Silent Clearing, and if they did that, they did that. This is what I mean about the surveil lands, where Codex Shredder just having it out there is pretty good against them. Silent Clearing that we knew about. Goblin Rabble Master. Gonna make some 1/1s. So we would not like this Rabble Master to attack. Though unfortunately it's gonna get one. It won't be able to attack. We're gonna have to tank another Goblin hit. Dash Ragavan doesn't hit now. A lot less stuff that is relevant at this point in the game. Unless they have 2 unknowns in hand, and one of those unknowns has to be a relevant card. Like Thoughtseize, we don't even care about. No, we won't block. Yeah, I think here we're in pretty good shape. Bloodstained Mire. Well, we know they hit about Fatal Push. It's basically one unknown that has to, for some reason, randomly be something relevant. And just in case, I mean, they're going to Fatal Push the construct, but... Alright, oh yeah, I guess Pithing Needle. If you're playing here, never Pithing Needle the fetch land there. Just so irrelevant. I guess they'll want another Stoneforge. But, Codex Shredder. Oops. Kind of slow tonight, Moto. Yeah, with a second bridge on top, like even less worried. I would kind of like them to use this Silent Clearing. Yeah, alright, they concede. Alright, this is what we like. Opponents that know what's up and concede quickly. Alright, that game was over, and they do hide most of their deck. We're gonna bring in the ley lines, as we saw. Black hand disruption would not be surprising. Another Needle. They have like Hushbringer. Get Lost. I could see them playing Blood Moon. I think Shadow Spear can come out. There aren't really any equipments that we care about them getting, I guess. So Cage can come out. Probably Trim a Needle. I don't think it's going to be super relevant. Yeah, we'll trim a cookbook. Can we trim a cookbook? I feel like they might be a Blood Moon deck. So I think because I think they might randomly have Blood Moon. we'll trim like that. Trim one of each of the tutors and just run it back. I think, definitely a faster opponent here. Turn 1 cookbook. Turn 2 saga, hold up, get lost. Turn 3 bridge. Oh, it's so close. Well, let me know what you would do in this position. I mean, I'm kind of leaning. Like, we have better 5s, but it also has bridge. I'm just trying to think how many answers they have to bridge, and if their answer is the leyline binding, we can beat that with get lost, obviously. If they got turn 1 Ragavan here, it's a bit of a pain. Oh, Stalactite Stalker. Oh, this might just be a Mardu scam with like Mardu scam playing some Rabble Master. I mean, Stoneforge Mystic's not crazy in scam to begin with, so it not most shocking. Inquisition here is kind of unfortunate. I'm interested in what they take. If they take Get Lost, I feel like Blood Moon is somewhat likely. Yep, or they have another discard spell. They have another discard spell. However, I mean, this is with the games where Urza Saga can hopefully carry, where hand gets ripped away, make some big dudes to hold down the fort. And this is why, like in the pre-ban, like before Fury got banned, this is one of the reasons why our scam matchup was pretty good, was where they had pretty low amount of answer. I mean, are they on Blood Moon? No, I call it Rabble Master. That's fine. Where they had like low answers to Ensnaring Bridge, but then also kind of not many good ways of answering Urza Saga. So it's kind of either they're stuck behind a bridge for most of the game, or they are stuck behind like construct tokens. Lantern on top, I think we keep that. We want to get. I'm just trying to think how our play pattern goes. Because we're making constructs the next 2 turns for sure. They got 1 card in hand. Yeah, I think Lantern's fine to draw here. Draw Pixis. I mean, we gotta make the bigger blockers. We'll hold up Cookbook here so that our construct doesn't die to Bolt. Fortunately, the 1/1s are going to have to attack into the construct. So we'll see if it can hold it off enough. Let's flip a dude out there. I mean, if they left Fatal Push in against us, then we got it. The question is, do we... it's -3, right? Oh, it's -4. Yep, they're gonna kill the... So it takes 7. However, we are gonna get to make another construct. So not the worst shape in the world, I'd say. Well, now we're definitely not. So let's see, we're gonna grab Welding Jar because we have the lock pieces we need, and then we're gonna play Lantern, and we're gonna shock in a Watery Grave, play Ensnaring Bridge, probably discard the Pixis, as we can use Whir to grab another one. If they have, I don't know what 1 mana removal spell they can have here. I'm thinking something like Shattering Spree, which is why I grabbed the, like, any of their the removal in these colors, unless they're playing Prismatic Ending, is all going to be destroy effects. Oh, they moved right to combat. They would have answered it with Prismatic Ending pre-combat and then killed us. So we should be good here. Although I don't really like that they have one unknown that I kind of want to know what it is, and I'm also kind of tempted to grab another bridge. I think against a deck like this, they're doing something. Oh, it's Bone Crusher Giant. Oh, they're dead. Okay, I mean, like, honestly, I feel like it's probably correct just to hold the Bone Crusher Giant so that we play around something that isn't there. But knowing what's in their hand now, easy win from here. Probably going to get 2 Surveil lands. We're just going to whir for another Codex Shredder, and GG's. Much smoother here. I mean, I guess trying the Rabble Master and Scam, that's fine. Yeah, you can draw. It's not the worst card I've ever seen. K command, yeah, obviously we're gonna beginning of combat. Almost skipped through that. 1 done. All right, just grab another Codex Shredder when Moto decides to do that, and mill the K command and. Yeah. Thoughtseize we don't care about. We don't want to draw Thoughtseize of our own, but speaking of which, actually we have Cookbook. We can get value out of this. And then let's just gain a bit to improve our safety. And then just F6 here. And we are in. Yeah, it's GG. We got him here. Let's start mill myself a bit. Another Saga, yes please. And yeah, we're good from here. So I'll probably cut it, get a bit of a shorter win here in round 3, and I'll see y'all. I'll come back when they're milled out. All right, well, I'm coming back. Milled them basically like 1 turn after I paused the recording. They got a Croxa in their deck, which is why they weren't conceding. I mean, Croxa, if we didn't have Cookbook out and we're still at 2, yeah, Croxa from the graveyard would be a problem. However, here, Pixis is in our graveyard. We are smart people. That's fine. Probably, I mean, Croxa hits us for 6 because it can't attack, right? So unless they have a second one, and even then we gain 3 a turn. I think I probably still mill them. Upkeep. They're gonna bolt us to 8. I guess this does hit us to 2. Yeah, I'll mill it. Just get them just 1 trigger off of it. Hopefully it's only 1 Croxa. Otherwise we're gonna need lands to get this Pixis back. Yep, escape Croxa. It's fine. As long as it's just 1. Stalker, I mean, okay, they're still dead. It's just gonna probably mean that they decide to play it out a bit more. always yields to these triggers. Yeah, you know, like clock management at this point, like we have 15 minutes, more than enough time to close it out. It is, I will say, Moto runs a bit slower. I don't have the best computer in the world, so it can be a bit slow when I'm recording and playing live. Doesn't really impact it too much on the replays, but when I'm actually playing, as you can see here, it's kind of pretty slow. But and yeah, we'll see. Maybe they have more Croxas or Fatal Push for their Croxa or something like that. But sorry, as I was saying, clock management. It's really about using like the auto yield ability. So I'm basically always use the yield until end step, where as long as they don't have any instant speed ways of drawing cards, and I'm just able to yield until their end step and then mill them a bunch. Yeah, you can. I don't know why they want to keep a Goblin Rabble Master. But it is always interesting to see kind of the sheer number of ways that opponents, you know, the variation in times which they crack fetch lands is always pretty funny. Oh, snow-covered swamp? Alright. That is indeed a legal card to play. We're going to play the Glimmer Void here. I will Portable Hold a Croxa if I get the chance. Yeah, so we're just going to F6 through our turn, and then we'll yield till end step on their turn. Especially with them cracking the fetch land, like it helps them. It helps me a lot, as they're not able to upkeep fetch it. If you're like really low on time, what you can do is just F6 through their turn and just slowly mill them out, or just remove all your stops. Yeah, it's waiting for me at the beginning of combat, but yeah, we're just gonna mill away here. I don't know exactly what they're. It is kind of funny that like Weird Hair game 1 they're like concede, like bridge comes down and they're out here, and then the next game they're like, oh, I'm just gonna play Witch. You know, I never complain about people playing it out. It's their right to do so. They're more than welcome to. I signed up to play the deck. I should have no problem killing people with it. Do we take Tezzeret out? I think we left him in the sideboard. Yeah, we did. Because he could be one. If I'd brought him in, I could fetch him with Profane Tutor. But I think it's still correct not to bring him in. Yield until next end step, and then we go from there. They got 20 cards left. We're milling them 4 a turn. They draw 1. That's 5 a turn. They got 4 turns left, and I don't think there's anything that they can find to kill us by then. So pretty easy win here. I have timestamps on the video, so I fully expect the viewership right about now to be pretty low, as I assume most people. Oh, Embercleave, that's actually cool. Remember that was in standard. That's actually right around. Eldraine was one of the. Yeah, I got a mill it. So they do have another Croxa. Oh, Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, that would be bad. Eldraine was one of the first sets I got into when I started playing. I think War of the Spark was the kind of just as like War of the Spark was being released was when I got into it. So played a bit of that in limited, and then I mean we go up to 7. Tap. So War of the Spark, M20. I didn't play like any Modern Horizons. I wasn't into Modern at that time, but definitely I've looked back on Hogak Summer with a gladness that I was not playing at that time. They're gonna escape this Croxa, and it would have mattered actually if we didn't have this portable hold. Them having the second Croxa would mean that every turn they'd get to do that, which would just mean that we were discarding every turn to Underworld's Cookbook, which like isn't ideal, but it doesn't make us die. And here, I mean, yeah, it's always very satisfying when your opponent has like a massive board and you're just kind of chilling behind one ensnaring bridge. And then few Croxa says each, not target, right? Yeah, each. So Leyline doesn't even really matter for it. Mill them, mill their bunch of their fetch lands. Stoneforge Mystic. Pretty sure there's no equipment that can destroy an artifact. But I'll probably still mill it in their upkeep just in case. I don't know if there's an artifact that destroys a permanent that sees play in Modern. No, that is extremely fringe and someone could randomly throw in their Stoneforge Mystic deck. Maybe. I'll just mill it to be safe. I think the likelihood that they have enough cards that are relevant to make it incorrect is pretty low. Engine. Alrighty. I mean, some people don't concede until actually Silent Clearing. It's kind of greedy to mill here. Paid off. But I just Silent Clearing. One thing, you know, when you are kind of trying to be conscious of time, is that things like Silent Clearing can really make that hard, where you have to then kind of leave your mill rocks up all the time to be able to mill in response to them drawing a card, and it's just easier to just mill it. Let's see, that puts them at 6. 2 turns. Malachar Rebirth, we don't care about. So we mill into 4. Draw 1. Discard, make a food, gain life. See if we hit them with the GGs again. If they, all right, we're wrapping it up here. See if they concede. Honestly, like pretty straightforward matchup. We would have left Grafdigger's Cage in if we. I guess we never saw Grief, eh? What are they scamming? Yeah, why? Hold up. I just realized that they don't have Grief, but are playing Malachar Rebirth, which is a card that is legal in Modern, but I mean, I guess it's good against removal spells, but interesting. Now they got 5 cards left. If one of them's Emrakul, that does not beat us, as we just mill all the cards but Emrakul, and then they don't have any way of discarding it. Although I guess they could Thoughtseize themselves. Alright, if one of these last 5 cards is Emrakul, we play a much longer game. And then we'll have to worry about clock a bit more. So what you would do if one of these cards is Emrakul, then you would use this extra land you're getting to get back your Pyxis of Pandemonium from the graveyard. You would then use their Pyxis of Pandemonium to exile their Emrakul. I mean, maybe Emrakul is literally the bottom card. I mean, if it is Emrakul, I don't know why they're saying huh. If it is Emrakul, we're gonna play around this. We're gonna make an executive decision to hold up being able to get Pixis of Pandemonium back to exile an Emrakul underneath this swamp. And another Croxa. Well, all that for nothing. That's 9? No, that's not 9, but okay. But I mean, I don't really know what they're meaning, but Croxa did not matter at any point. I guess they just had a third one tucked in there. They can only bring back one a turn, so they don't have enough land. If they had enough lands to bring back 2 a turn, they'd also exile like their whole graveyard too quickly. What's its escape cost? 5 other cards from the graveyard, so they would be pretty quick. I mean, they're just stalling here, so I will easy win in round 3, and we'll be back for round 4. Well, good things have happened to us on the play so far in this league, so we'll see if we can keep that rolling. I think on one land too sketchy here. We got the full lock plus a bit of disruption, kind of at risk of being blown out by Glimmervoid here, but it's a risk we kind of have to take. I think the hand's good enough otherwise. I mean, if specifically like Force of Negation or Prismatic Ending, if they no leyline of the guild pack turn 1, so that's meant to hit Pixis. Alright, against Tron, this is a hand of cards. Dismember, perhaps more likely to be Eldrazi Tron. Chromatic Sphere is not a card I like to see, as Chromatic Sphere, they can basically hold up the entire game, and then whenever they want to draw something very important, they can pop the sphere. Although hopefully they need it for green mana. Right, they got Karn in hand, which we obviously need an answer for. I'm going to take the Ancient Stirrings and hope that we can find ourselves an answer to this Karn before they get. They might Sylvan Scrying here. They got turn 3 Tron. Yeah, so they're going to play the Mine. Needle on O-Stone. Need another hand disruption spell for Karn. I see a bit of a tight spot here. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing with Sphere. I think they probably just use Sphere, get Stirrings, grab Power Plant, or Tower, sorry, the one they're missing, and then obviously a resolved Karn pre-board. Can't beat it unless we have Saga out, which we don't at this point. So, and they have double Dismember, so basically no way of beating a Karn here. Just kind of have to draw into Thoughtseize or Duress. Fortunately, we have used our Inquisition. I'm going to cast the Scrying. So we have exactly 6 hits here that we have to find. Right, we grab Tower, Pixis, exile. Codex Shredder is not a good card, but not what we're looking for here. Thoughtseize is exactly what we're looking for. Doesn't fortunately mean, whoops. unfortunately mean that we kind of have to let them have the ring. As we take Karn here. Alright, we have kind of two options, where we can either needle on the ring and leave them with O-Stone in a turn. I think we just have to needle O-Stone and hope that we can spin into an answer for the one ring. And like, I don't hate our position if we can find an answer to the ring, although them having Expedition Map does make it a bit worse, as Beseju is going to be pretty good. I mean, they just draw a map right away here, right? No, they want to hold up. Bridge does limit somewhat the amount of answers that they can have. I don't want them drawing this map. This map finds them Beseju on Oblivion Stone, which we all know what that does. Unfortunately, we are going to have to get rid of this Expedition Map, as we can only use Pixis and not Shredder here. Wormcoil, kind of have to let them have. All is Dust is totally fine. This ring's probably going to get them enough value that they find it in time. O-Stone and Chromatic Star. Star, way better than Sphere. Like, Chromatic Sphere is so much worse for us. Star, at least, is a trigger. It goes on the stack. You're able to respond to it. Just miles better. Whereas this Sphere here, we will not let them have. We take 6. We then make a 5/5. Take another 6. I think we're gonna be. I think we take the Saga. So, oh no, they have answer to constructs in Dismember. So we can't trade off with Wormcoil. Dark Six Shores. I'm gonna let them draw the mine and then use Pixis at the end of the turn. We're looking for Word of Invention or Ensnaring Bridge. Fine. Well, we can't let them draw Karn. Unfortunately, they have a few too many ways of drawing cards here. So you're gonna play the mine. I assume they play Star. Yeah, and then yeah, we're dead. Just the unchecked ring here. No, I'm just gonna concede. We don't have much going for us. That right there. Then sideboarding. I think we're gonna bring in Ashiox. It's good at shutting down their things like Expedition Map. Get Lost is an answer to Karn, and then of course we want our extra Pithing Needles. We might even consider a Tezzeret here. In terms of what we cut, the portable holes can hit Expedition Map or one of the Sphere or Star, but that's about it. Grafdigger's Cage, Underworld Cookbook, Shadow Spear are all getting cut. Collective Brutality, I think, gets cut. Maybe one copy of Profane Tutor if they're on Chalice. I think we do bring in the Tezzeret. It's if we get into kind of some board stall state, we'll like to see it there. And we haven't ran into a single Leyline binding deck yet, so kind of too bad. Like a Leyline Scion deck. We haven't seen any of those. I don't think this hand really does enough against Tron. You could probably, oh, come on. Well, getting a bit too aggressive with mulligans here. I mean, this is a lot better, but it is still a mulligan. We're gonna use the Shredder Bauble to try to find other lands and stuff first before we Thoughtseize, as we still have kind of a turn to Thoughtseize. Let's bubble ourselves. Urza Saga is kind of perfect here. as it'll allow us to put a bit of pressure on, and then also use our Thoughtseize this turn. Saga, Seachrome Coast does mean we get to make constructs with this Saga. We'll have enough mana for that. Thoughtseize, let's see what you're working with. One ring, Oblivion Stone Karn. So we take Karn here, and then put a needle on One Ring or Oblivion Stone. They are going to take a couple turns to get up and running, so we could take Oblivion Stone, leave them with Karn, needle on the One Ring, hope that we can kill Karn in time. Actually, I don't hate doing that, although that's pretty bad if they go into Tron. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll take Oblivion Stone and try to make the constructs. They don't have an answer to the constructs, and unless they draw a tower here, then it's going to take them a little bit before they get Karn. They'll have to Karn Sphere. I mean, if they're using it right away, it's fine. If they're holding it, then it's a problem. Okay, they play Saga. Obviously hoping to defend their Karn, I would say. And then here, I mean, now it's make constructs and swing time. We took Shadow Spear out, right? So we won't be able to trample over their constructs. But that's a question of, do we want to use Bauble here? I think if we Bauble, see something that we want to mill, and then go to mill it, they just use Chromatic Star to draw it. So like, yes, we know about it, but they also just get to use use Chromatic Sphere to draw it. They're gonna play a mine that we know about. And I think it's just better to make our constructs slightly bigger. And we'll see how much pressure we can get. If they do just slam the ring next turn, yeah, so they're going to make their construct. However, ours are going to be 5/5, so significantly bigger than theirs. We're going to grab a needle, putting it on the One Ring. I could see an argument for putting it on Engineered Explosives, but the ring. And then we play Seachrome Coast and start swinging with constructs. This is one of the ways to do well against Tron, I would say, is like the construct beatdown. Oh, they didn't make a. Oh, they did. So they are going to make constructs. This is actually a lot better. I don't know what they. If they play something like Pithing Needle, that's not great. But it is, importantly, this will take them off of land, meaning they're. I guess they. Haywire Might is good against Pithing Needle. And actually, importantly, it makes their constructs much bigger. All right, yeah, this star is actually pretty relevant here. I think they're just debating about attacking. I won't trade. I value the pressure enough, as I kind of. I think I have to crack the bubble here. Look to draw into slightly more relevant cards, and if I just draw double artifact, then I'm still in decent shape. Word of Invention is good. Inquisition can't hit Karn. See, the problem here is, I mean, I got a Word of Invention for Pithing Needle on Haywire Might, but then I can't swing with the construct tokens because they'll just trade and then slam Karn, meaning I have to. it's not a good position here, especially if they get the extra land. No attacks. Not loving where I'm at right now, but and they get a couple redraws with their sphere. Oh, they use the sphere first. Definitely minor mistake. Sylvan Scrying, we're basically dead. I would like them to use the star. Honestly, use the star just to shrink their constructs, where I need to make sure that when I'm swinging with mine, either like one of them's getting through to kill Karn, or they're just chumping, like they can't. Another Urza Saga, holy smokes. I guess another Thoughtseize here would be pretty good. I mean, they're just gonna Karn. One ring for protection. So I kind of just have to take 10 here. I think I have to just take it, because if I trade off, I think I just have to take it. Or I can always slam bridge. Okay, my Urza Saga of my own is not bad. They have protection, right? I mean, they just get to slam Karn here, is the problem, where, like, when I'm trading tokens, maybe I should have traded last turn. Yeah, I can't target them because they played the ring. Well, I don't know if this is totally right here, but I kind of think I have to slam bridge. Otherwise, I'm taking a bunch next turn. I probably should have traded. It's kind of unfortunate, like I don't have, like I didn't have Saga, so I think not knowing that I'm gonna draw Saga, I kind of have to just rely on a top decked Get Lost here as my only real answer to this card. Although if they do go for they shouldn't go for Construct Plan here, I think, but you never know. So I think they just slam Karn here and we're in trouble, but whatever. It's Tron, hard matchup anyway. Kind of too bad that Merfolk round 2 really shouldn't have kept that one lander against the Dockhand deck, but bit punished for our poor mulligan decisions. They're gonna make green. Maybe they have Beseiju, Sylvan Scrying for Beseiju, Sylvan Scrying for Tower, Sylvan Scrying for Tower, presumably. And then they slam Karn here. Yeah, Tower. Play Karn. Down tick, grab Cityscape Leveler, I guess. Probably Cityscape Leveler for the turn afterwards. So start blowing up my, like if they start removing Pithing Needles, I'm done. Like they can EE on 0, but that doesn't really benefit them. Yep, Big Daddy Karn. We're cooked. I don't know what they're gonna get, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that a Tron sideboard has something good to downtick and reveal with Karn. I mean, let's see what they is. Play 3. I mean, like a Bolivian Stone here. We don't have a needle on that. A Sphere is good. Let's them draw a. I mean, Beseiju. Come on, opponent. Let's go here. Making me sack my saga. Not terrible. But we'll see. I need exactly get lost off the top, otherwise they grab. Oh, he made one ring into a creature in order to keep Karn alive. That's not a get lost, but if he is just trying to keep Karn alive, then we're cooked. Cooked. Or did. I'm conceding to that. No way we come back with that hand. They can blow up bridge, make another construct with Saga. Tough one there. Maybe we should have taken the Karn, relied on getting a needle for O-Stone, but whatever. And we got one more. Hopefully we can get back to a 2-3 and maybe face a bit of a grindier matchup. Alright, going for that 2-3. Fighting on the play. I mean, yes. Lead on Lantern Bauble. Suspend Tutor on turn 2. With double Saga, I'm just going to lead on Saga. I can make constructs with the second one if this is a construct matchup. And it gets me Codex Shredder on turn 3. Grief, eh? Well, that's fun. It's either Scam or Goryos. Ephemerate. Oh, so we are Goryos. Obviously, if they fetch Shock here and then just Grief Ephemerate us, we're in relatively rough shape. Although we will have this Thoughtseize, obviously taking something. So if it's just Grief, the second, I think we actually just natural draw the Thoughtseize, use I don't want to take the risk of drawing like a bridge or a whir under it, and would rather just draw the card after they don't have an Ephemerate coming down anyway. Thoughtseize, let's see what you're working with. I mean, this, yeah, I guess part of the problem with Faithful Mending, we're going to take it so that they're only able to use it once. But it does, Flashback is pretty good on it. And honestly, like, we're probably, so yeah, this is what I mean, where we don't want to draw the extra cards so that they don't really get value out of the Ephemerate. Importantly, the clock is significantly slower when the Oracle figure. When the Grief doesn't get that +1/+1 counter. Wonder what they do with the Odoar. Come on, graveyard. No, leave it on top. Whatever. Not a huge deal. We're probably gonna get Grafdigger's Cage with this, shutting down their Faithful Mending and. Actually, I don't hate where we are now. Being able to whip out our main deck Grafdigger's Cage. Shadow Spear is actually not irrelevant. No, Shadow Spear is terrible. Oops. Shadow Spear. We need a land. Is what we need, and Shadow Spear is not that. Another risk of running out Saga turn 1, kind of punished for that play. We'll take the Atraxa. Honestly, we probably crack Lantern here, as we want something more relevant than Shadow Spear. I guess maybe we could have got Codex Shredder, but like I still feel like we want to shut down kind of their main engine, as they're probably going to take 4 turns to kill us, as they don't really have much pressure. Come on, land for Saga. Bobble. Well, is without a doubt one of the cards we could draw. Getting kind of low. They got Tainted Indulgence on top. We'll leave it there. Kind of a rough ending, but to discard Odawara. You're gonna search off Polluted Delta. Probably means they drew another one. Priest of Fell Rites. It doesn't really change their clock much. I guess 1 turn. I think I actually just die unless I go land in Snaring Bridge. Grizzlebrand, obviously pretty good. Because if I... Well, that happened. Just gonna grab a Codex Shredder. And then run out the Ensnaring Bridge. And there are currently some... They have Grizzlebrand. I mean, I think they probably get to 8 mana this game, so I will mill it. I will say Leyline Binding is seeing less play than it has. Like, it's not in Goryo's decks have kind of moved away from it in the main. A lot are still playing it side, however, it has got Of course they find the prismatic ending. Alright, we got 1 turn to find hand disruption. Yeah, we're dead here. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate way to go. As, yeah, they just play pending next turn. We don't have anything for it. I wonder if we had milled a card. Yeah, we weren't seeing anything. But alright, well we'll see. What's under sideboard? Ashiox, Hushbringer is pretty good against them. Gonna bring in Leylines. Get Lost. A lot of cards coming in. What comes out? Cookbook is coming out. Not useful in the matchup. Shadow Spears coming out. Portable Hole doesn't really hit anything. Collective Brutality is kind of useful. Grafdigger's Cage, obviously very good. Welding Jar, very useless. They do play some number of Teferis. So I think we cut the Profane Tutor. I think we just have enough relevant cards coming in that we can afford to cut it, and it's pretty bad if you take your turn 2 to suspend a Profane Tutor and then they just go Teferi on turn 3, and then you're pretty cooked then. We'll run this back on the play. I don't hate this setup, but obviously not the best thing in the world. Is Hushbringer and Bauble enough? I don't think so. Thoughtseize is so clunky. No, I think I'm gonna go to 5. This is much better. Ditch the Glimmer Void and another Bubble. Maybe a bit greedy to go down to 5, but what is life if not for a little bit of greed? And let's Thoughtseize, see what you're working with. Force pending. Double archaeologist. I mean, I guess we take the pending here and then just force them to. We can grind our way through the force at some point. Let's see what they're drawing. Come on. Grief is fine. They don't have any black cards to pitch to it. And likely just getting a surveil land with that. If they do hold up this force for a while, it'll kind of get annoying. It'll also get annoying if we never draw a second land. Would also not be the first game against Goryos this week that I have died with one land. If you're in the Lantern Discord, I shared a report from my Paper Modern earlier where, yeah, I kept like another sketchy one-lander against Goryos and just never found the land. Obviously, we're gonna mill whatever they left on top. And was a prismatic ending. I mean, the surveil lands lose a lot of value against us. I think some people were kind of concerned with how if they would be a big game changer. Oh, come on. Prismatic ending, force negation, marsh flats. And they choose force. Alright, well they got double force in their hands, so we just have to get 2 spells. Oh, are you kidding me? We gotta get 2 spells force negation. Although this one is probably over, I will see. Yeah, we're done. We're so dead here. We got double force. Yeah, especially when they're keeping up like hardcast force. There's so much. Like you kind of need them to be. You really need them to be having to pitch cast their force, like Tainted Indulgence. Like we can concede here. Like let's. I mean we'll play it out, but we gotta go back through the league. Or what was our first round? Oh, if we work our way backwards, the Tron games. I think Tron is fairly difficult regardless, so I wasn't. Yeah, I think we had chances. Oh, they can't force this, which is good. And it does stop the additional archaeologist we know about in hand. So there's actually a world here where, Hushbringer hits the battlefield. We then cast like Ashiok or Bridge. They force. They got double force, right? Alright, cracking marsh flats for a watery grave. Do you have another counterspell for it? Tainted Indulgence, looking for something. I mean, the Tron game. Yeah, it's fine. We beat up on some scam Stoneforge package, and then Merfolk. That was kind of disappointing. Losing to Merfolk, wasn't thrilled with that. And then who's our round 1? I'll think of it at some point. And I guess here we know they have force, so there's not really a ton of incentive to jam something. Like I think we're better off just waiting until we have like a 1-drop and 3-drop or something that we can jam at the same time. They haven't really put. I mean, on the plus side, they do have 3 copies of Prismatic Ending in their graveyard, which does mean that it's going to be a bit harder for them to get another one. They put on top. Upkeep. We're going to mill. If they have a draw effect, it doesn't matter when we mill. Just another surveil land. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Definitely going to be a slower game here. Probably have to be a bit more conscious of where I'm sitting at clockwise. I'm just going to go to combat. Swing with Hushbringer. Very slow clock. We're going to play the Collective Brutality just as the reveal instant or sorcery. It likely eats a force, but if it's eating a force, then either Ensnaring Bridge or Ashiok is not eating a force. So, because as far as we know, they have two force negations in hand. I'm actually pretty surprised they haven't just ran out of grief. But if they do run out of grief, so they're going to use one force. If they run out of grief, I think we play Ashiok. And then get that. Probably would get Force of Negation to an Ashiok, I would assume. And then put it on top. So like if they... Alright, I guess they're just leaving cards on top to get us to mill them. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't... Did this grief go to the graveyard? Maybe they discarded it. And this is perfect, actually. We're gonna duress. Probably get it Force of Negation again. I mean, they have nothing in the graveyard, so we're gonna take the force. Ephemerate doesn't do anything. Basically, they have one turn to draw an answer. Otherwise, next turn we are going to just slam Ashiok and start exiling large chunks of their deck. Also, we are on a 9-turn clock with Hushbringer. Actually, Ephemerate plus Archaeologist would have been pretty good for them here. 8-turn clock, ticking down, ticking down. Hallowed Fountain should mean that they're out of Surveil lands, is what I would interpret that as. As I think they get a Surveil land, or they've just learned not to get Surveil lands. They do have a lot of dead cards here. Kind of unlucky for them that they haven't drawn any creatures. Colorless, blue. Just jam an Ashiok. And then mill them for 1. And then mill them for 4 and exile their graveyard. Turn off all their fetch lands. Hit Faithful Mending. Yeah, from here, I guess it's just kind of holding on, seeing how... Honestly, we probably play the bridge just so that if they draw something like Solitude, or I guess they're playing Atraxa here. Looks like Atraxa mana. Fortunately, Hushbringer shuts off the ETB. MVP. Absolute MVP. In this matchup, at least. Let's see if they want to... Actually, if we mill them for 6 a turn. I will point out that they are at 24 cards left in deck, which is pretty low. And it did look like they had Atraxa. Alright, so we hit them for 6 a turn, 7. They're on like a 3-turn clock just from Ashiok. I'm actually feeling a bit better about this game. I was getting a bit pessimistic there. Ensnaring Bridge. I think our clock is faster milling than attacking. So you don't want to leave the Hushbringer up to any... They can technically, like, if they have like a Faithful Mending plus Goryo's Vengeance, they can get a Atraxa back to block. Alright, good. And so that would I guess what could have been a reason to swing with a Hushbringer a bit less earlier. Is there anything that we saw? I don't think we switch anything up. Hushbringer's really strong in that matchup. Like, they basically have Prismatic Ending and Leyline Binding to answer it, although we didn't see any Leyline Bindings in what we exiled, so it's probably just Prismatic Ending. It's kind of their main answer to Hushbringer, but like Solitude doesn't answer it. It even shuts down like the Archaeologist value. Just overall very strong. On the draw, I think we keep this. You know, we use Bauble Shredder to get hopefully find another land. And then we play a tap land. Looks like the kind of thing that you would play if you had Grief plus a black spell, or Grief plus Ephemerate. I wonder if they force the Shredder, just seeing double bubble. Actually, with the double Leyline, let's see what we're looking at here. Another Glimmer Void. I will keep that on top for sure. And then we'll use the bauble at the end of their turn. Otawara playing is very key here. That's really good. Word of Invention at this stage in the game looks pretty solid. Honestly, like if we get Word like in response to Goryos or something, I think that could be very strong. Let's see if they. You got Force, you got Dobin's Veto. You're going to Tainted Indulgence in response, that's fine. You're going to discard a Grief. This is a hand, eh? Touch the Spirit Realm. Exiles an artifact or creature until touch leaves the battlefield. Now we're going to take the Prismatic Ending and not feel great about it, but they do have a pretty good amount of interaction there. 50. They got 5 cards in their hand. Free. Okay, I wasn't sure if they went up above 60, but doesn't look like they did. Right, Flooded Strand. We knew about that. Hopefully, land for Ashiok here would be pretty big. Actually, I think we gotta hold up Whir, as if they touch the Spirit Realm on Codex Shredder, we need another artifact. They're gonna Faithful Mending. Do we grab a Grafdigger's Cage here? I think honestly that might be the play. Is just go tap out, grab Cage, and then if they use Touch the Spirit Realm on it, use just hit it with Ashiok, like my library here. So they get one chance with this mending. Draw some extra cards. Yeah, I kind of wasn't quite realizing that we had 2 Glimmer Voids there, so I would have loved to slam Ashiok, but not. They discard Ephemerate. Oh, and they did leave it on top, which is kind of unfortunate. Down to 45 cards. If we assume that Ashiok takes out 20, well, let's run out an Ashiok, see if one of tap to mana wrong. Blue. All these cards add blue. Ashiok. I mean, let's see if they have a force. Looking like they're probably going to use either they have force and they're going to hard cast it, or they're going to sewers and then cast a Tainted Indulgence. Now, if they cast Tainted Indulgence, we mill. All right. Gonna mill you, and then we're going to Ashiok you. As to be honest, like here we just kind of want to raw like volume exile as much of their deck as possible, where all of their fetches are turned off at this point. Tainted Indulgence, discarding Polluted Delta after drawing 2. The touch does answer Grafdigger's Cage, but another Tainted Indulgence. I mean, all of this does kind of just dig them more cards deep, discarding a Marsh Flats. Yeah, obviously they want to get rid of their fetch lands. Exile target artifact or creature. Urza Saga, very good here. Pithing Needle. I think we're just gonna put it on Teferi. They obviously they don't have it in hand, but if they draw it, it would be pretty good here. Gonna probably make some constructs, mill them for 1. Force negation, take out another 4. Down to 29. Ashiok can like solo the remaining half of their deck. Faithful Mending, alright, you can cast it once. Just Grafdigger's Cage. I guess if they go Grafdigger's Cage plus, alright, they discard Goryos, which means they're either have another Goryos or they are going to touch, like they would have to touch Grafdigger's Cage, Priest of Fell Rites, probably exiling the Grafdigger's Cage here. Yep, not that surprising. Is the but we're probably just playing Ensnaring. Yeah, we're playing Ensnaring Bridge. As I do want to protect this Ashiok. The extra milling is very useful, and it being able to take out this Faithful Mending, it's pretty good. What do they got? Oh, they got March of Otherworldly Light got exiled. 2 forces are in there. So far, 1 Atraxa's exiled, so they have to have another Atraxa. Well, we were. It's Urza Saga for a Lantern here, and then probably just playing Hushbringer. I think it's better. Hushbringer's more. Given the board state, Hushbringer is more relevant than Force on top. Hushbringer is more relevant than Whir of Invention would be. We're going to mill the Force. And then we're going to try to mill that Atraxa into a Teferi that we have needled. Well, I like our position here, and fetch lands are totally fine. Yep, Teferi is needled. I mean, feeling pretty good. 14 cards left. We are gonna just leave Ashiok until like the search clause is relevant enough that it is worth just leaving out. Alright, Word of Invention. And this time we'll grab Pixis of Pandemonium, as if they have any big reanimation targets, like they do have the Priest on board, so we don't really want to. I guess we can mill in Atraxa now, it doesn't matter. But we don't want to mill Griselbrand. Although I think it's probably hard for them to draw cards off Griselbrand. Flooded Strand you can have all day here. kind of want a Thoughtseize. This wouldn't hurt. I don't know what other 4 cards they have. All right, and they concede. Actually, that was a pretty good match against Goryo's at the end there, where Moto's just freezing a bit as celebrate our win with a nice frozen. Now would be the time to smash the like button. Where we had him there, and I think that last match really exemplified what this list is trying to do, where it's just able to grind with those slower decks, and really, like, the game it lost, I think, was like in this match was just kind of mulligan, like probably questionable mulligan. So I think I'm still working on mulliganing with this deck. Like, if we go back through the lists, the game against the Twiddle Storm, yeah, I think that's a write off. Like, we got comboed out pretty fast game 1, and then game 2, like, was that the game that we had to mull down to 4? I think that was our mull to 4 there, where we mulligan like a probably like on the edge 6, but I think it was still correct to mulligan that into 0/0 landers. Obviously not great. The Merfolk matchup, the second game, we definitely lost because of, like, we definitely lost the game there because of mana issues. Our wins, like this game, I mean, this is kind of like the perfect matchup for Lantern, where they lack interaction for Ensnaring Bridge, and Ensnaring Bridge just beats them. I think Lantern, for like the rest of modern history, we're always going to beat decks like this. The game against Tron, I think it was fine. Obviously, we did still run into some mana issues. Maybe taking the Karn would have been correct over the Oblivion Stone, knowing that they had the pressure from Urza's Saga. I think it was kind of unfortunate that they drew like consecutive 1-drop artifacts to buff their constructs there. Would have likely had a better chance. And then finally the Goryo's Reanimator deck here. I think we, like, the game we lost, it was because of mana issues, and where we just like had to force things through counter spells and didn't get there in time. But like the 2 games that we won, I think really highlight what this list is looking to do, and kind of how it's looking to attack these decks. So overall, I think I was, for the most part, I say is happy with it. Maybe looking at a few changes to the mana base, and then just working on mulliganing with it a bit better. I guess we can go back to the deck here, as we so overall, I mean, Shadow Spear didn't come up a ton really. I think trimming to 60 might be fine, but like with 22 lands, we should be okay. It's probably just making better mulliganing decisions would probably have improved that win rate a lot. Anyway, that's been Esper Lantern. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.